After Huang Yu ate the poisonous fruit, Pangpe immediately gave the antidote fruit, and Huang Yu immediately ate it, because if not, then in 3 hours, he would die. Elsewhere, Rui, whose eyes were still unable to see, was helped by Fei to head north before the hunters found them. Rui asked to stop because he wanted to urinate, telling Fei to stay away, worried that she would be surprised to see Little Elephant. Huang Yu looks weak and dizzy, while giving the last message if he dies, telling Pangpe to say if he really loves Miss Liu, also give the password number bank account. Suddenly, Huang Yu felt a stomach ache and ran to defecate. Indicating if the antidote had worked to cause diarrhea, the effect he had many times to do activities that drain the contents of the stomach to crawl like a baby. In another place, Fei felt that he had waited too long to worry. When he returned, he lost Rui, thinking that if he deliberately left in a state of anger, he did not want her to be near him. Huang Yu regretted not listening to Pangpe's advice not to eat carelessly in the forest, except for the grilled chicken before. Then he invited Huang Yu to immediately continue the journey to the north, although Huang Yu refused because he was very tired. So Pangpe was forced to carry this spoiled child, while Renodama continued to track their whereabouts. It turned out that Rui had deliberately left Fei and continued walking. Despite his poor eye condition, he found a hut and then tried to enter to rest there, because this trip was so tiring. Unexpectedly, residents found Rui in the hut, aiming to capture and hand over to Harang because he got information that anyone who could catch Rui would get money. Suddenly, Rui woke up because she heard a commotion outside, as well as her eye condition began to better, and that the voice was someone who was beating the two people who were going to catch Rui. It turned out that it was Fei, who was surprised because Rui could already see clearly. Without wasting any time, they had to leave the place immediately, because Renodama was hunting them. While Huan Yu and Pangpe left immediately after hearing the sound of gunfire, looking for the area of the sound, and found several gunmen, Maid Pangpe had to beat them. But it was Bing Bing. Bing Bing explained that when she heard that Harang was holding a contest, that she would pay a high price for anyone who could catch Rui. Then, because she didn't want any problems with the family relationship between them, she could only do this secretly. Then Bing Bing gave weapons to fight Renodama's forces to immediately save Rui. Meanwhile, they hide under a bridge, and luckily, Renodama is unaware of both of them. Then, they continued their journey to the north. Eventually, they were all able to meet unharmed, showing a sense of joy on each other's faces. Then, they continued their journey until they found a safe resting place. Then, Fei asked Pangpe about the equipment bag. He's given by Bing Bing to explain that Bing Bing is with the army, after hearing that Harang made an announcement to hunt Rui down, and is now luring Renodama away from them. Pangpe handed out stun guns as a means of self-defense, except for Huang Yu, because he was always carelessly worried that he would shoot himself. This made Huang Yu upset and finally given the stun gun, on condition that it be used for dangerous conditions. Elsewhere, Renodama has returned home, and Huan asked where they were, but Reno did not answer on the grounds of going to meet Harang. This makes Huan suspicious by silently listening to the conversation, where Renodama apologized to Harang. If she could not kill them all, she had trouble because Pangpe is a former special forces, so Renodama is preparing to receive punishment. But Harang give mission, go to the border town of Mitkina, waiting for them at the checkpoint and kill all of them. Hearing this, Huan did not accept. Why have a very evil plan when Rui is helpers? During incidents in the casino, should also be kindness for kindness. But Harang instead told her to leave because this was an adult affair. Huan, who was upset, said if it was an immoral act, it was also impossible to have a despicable mother, making Harang slap Huan. Returning to the forest, Rui thanked Fei and said that if his eyes had returned to normal, Rui asked him not to tell Pangpe and Huang Yu about his condition so that they would not worry. Rui explained that earlier, when heading north, his eyes actually feeling better. Then Fei was able to know Rui's location because she saw two people who were holding a wanted poster, thinking they would catch Rui, and Fei assured that she was not part of Harang, but couldn't explain all of that now. Huang Yu approached and broke the atmosphere of serious conversation by saying that if the two had a special relationship that made Rui leave, then Fei gave a punishment to bring all the wooden branches. After that, Pangpe explains that if Harang and Renodama will not give up, then they must immediately continue their journey to the border town of Mitkina so that they can escape from Harang. After Fei leaves, Rui shows her an ancient map scroll found inside the roots of a 100-year-old tree. According to Pangpe, the map belongs to the Japanese army, where the map can help show their current location. Rui explained that he got the ancient map when he went to the antique market to buy a wooden statue from the roots, and that the map was hidden inside. And Pangpe suspected that the map showed the location of the treasure, as Goldie Roger had said. According to Rui from historical history, it used to be like that. The Japanese soldiers who colonized Myanmar then hid the treasure, and after the end of the war, they had not had time to bring home the spoils of war. Hearing that Huang Yu was excited to look for it, however, Pangpe did not recommend tracking down the treasure, and if the map was genuine, surely the treasure would be kept in the virgin forests of Mount Arakan, which besides being dangerous because they are hunted by Harang, there are also tigers, snakes, and other dangerous animals, so it is better to leave Myanmar immediately. However, Rui still wanted to go look for the treasure, because if they returned home through the Mitkina border, Harang would have thought like that and would wait there and just enter the bait from Harang. Virgin forests are very dangerous, and it's a burden to protect them. Then Rui told them not to participate in the expedition this time, but they will still participate. And Pangpe giving conditions until they get out of the forest. They must obey all directions, including do not eat carelessly, and Huan Yu knows it. Finally, they continued their journey. Fei realized if they walked not to the border town, but instead of heading west, Rui explained that they had to avoid Renodama, who was preparing an ambush in the border town, so they had to take another route. Suddenly, Rui felt like stepping on something. Then Pangpe immediately checked. Then Rui activated the penetrating God's eye to see if he stepped on landmine, almost knocked the red spot, and this is something very deadly. According to Pangpe, this mine is an old model release type from Japan, which is very dangerous because the needle is unstable and can explode at any time. He had learned to disable mines, but had never seen anything like it. Slowly, Pangpe tried to disable. Also, instruct immediately jump in the count of 3. Suddenly, Fei actually replaces stepping on the mine. He apologizes for not being able to keep his promise to accompany Rui until he comes home. Also apologizes for maybe deceiving him, but there is no intention to hurt Rui. She sent them away, but Rui refused, would never leave Fei no matter what. So Pangpe told both of them to look for something heavy, like, my love for you, honey. Elsewhere, Huan didn't want to eat or drink anything as a form of resistance to Harang, but Harang just didn't care about it, letting Huan die if that was what she wanted. Back in the forest, it turned out that the mine that had previously been inactive made Huang Yu scold the mine like a crazy person. Rui thanked Fei after the incident, but he hoped not to repeat the dangerous thing. According to Fei, it was indeed his duty as a guard according to the agreement, and she still couldn't explain the secret. Rui told the reason why he headed west direction, because he wanted to find objects depicted on the map, such as the symbol of the Eye of Horus. It reminds Fei if the symbol of the Eye of Horus has the same shape as that in the pawn shop, and the clues he had been looking for in Myanmar. Fei to be upset because Rui was hiding the secret. Then Pangpe explained about the details on the map. It turned out that the location mark on the map was a mine area planted by Japanese soldiers. And when he saw the text of the mine was indeed made in Japan in the 60s, the first generation of the release type. Then they decided to rest and continue the journey tomorrow. The next day, they started walking in the direction of the map. After walking far enough, Pangpe felt something strange. It turned out to be true, because he saw someone who was guarding the secret post towards 2 o'clock. He was reading Playboy magazine. Then Rui checked again the map if their current distance from the treasure was about 3 miles. Also, this was not a good thing if they found a secret outpost that was close to their destination. So Pangpe and Fei tried to get closer to examine more closely where the guard was holding the automatic weapon. Fei tried to lure the guards to leave the post, while Pangpe checked from the top of the guard post, which turned out to be a headquarters with more armed guards. Fei, who has been trained in close combat, easily beats up guards who read Playboy magazine. After that, they gathered again. Pangpe explained he saw the headquarters guarded by many troops there, which maybe they were a cartel group of drug dealers, or the notorious mafia, and if caught, will definitely not be left alive. So they decided to find a safer route to avoid the base, despite passing through more difficult areas. Until finally, they found a cave that was likely once used by hunters to rest. Suddenly, Huang Yu felt a smell of meat, and they had to be vigilant, because this location was in Harang area. So Pangpe advises to observe more closely before making a decision. Silently, they began to approach, and see in the cave there are 2 people. It turns out that both are Chinese who are talking about drug transactions. Suddenly, after hearing that, Pangpe immediately approached and beat the man, and without a doubt they used a gun to make Rui have to activate the God's Eye to save Pangpe. While Pangpe was brutally out of control, Lucky Fei immediately stopped the action. After Pangpe calmed down, Fei tried to interrogate them while showing if this stun gun could make them dance breakdance. Finally, Fei was informed that they were drug dealers who had come to Myanmar for the first time and were going to buy drugs from someone named Dua. Hearing about Dua, Pangpe's being so angry with emotions that could not be controlled made Fei have to stop this twice. They realize there is something to hide. So Rui asks, who is Dua? Pangpe explains that Dua is the boss of drug dealers in the border region who are active in Myanmar. 6 years ago, he and his brother were doing business through the forest, and they were arrested. But his brother was arrested while trying to protect Pangpe so he could escape. Then he received a package containing his brother's corpse, because from that moment he was very vengeful to Dua and swore that he would catch him. But Rui reminded that it was very difficult to do because there was no way 4 people would fight an armed group without a good plan. At the cartel headquarters, we will be shown a person praying for the audience of this video to have health and abundant finances. And this guy is a cartel boss named Dua. The next morning, when they woke up, they realized that Pangpe had gone and left a letter of apology as well if he should do what he was supposed to do. And obviously, Pangpe began to attack the guards secretly to be able to infiltrate the headquarters, looking for Dua's whereabouts. After being inside, Pangpe went to the bedroom and immediately shot brutally. But suddenly, Dua appeared and attacked from under the bed, and then there was a fight between them. Eventually, Pangpe had to surrender after they ambushed with a gun. Elsewhere, they are very worried. Huang Yu upset that Pangpe is desperate to do it alone. Then they argue how to save him, because Dua has a group that is fully armed and very cruel, has no pity for executing someone, and going there will only kill themselves, so they must have a good plan. Then, Rui had a good idea when he saw the two scared scoundrels, where they undercover as drug buyers, walked quietly by, starting to approach the cartel headquarters. Meet armed guards to explain if Wang Mazi sent them for drug transactions. The plan went smoothly, while the guard notified Dua if the buyer had already arrived. At that time, they saw Pangpe brutally whipped, showing great pain, because Rui couldn't bear to ask to stop, and the guard looked annoyed, thinking he was Pangpe's friend. Lucky Fei cleverly switched the conversation. Then Dua shows up to meet them, and suspecting that he is a stranger to the face, Rui explains, having orders from Wang Mazi to take drugs. But Dua was not informed if Wang Mazi sent a woman. Then Rui said that Fei was his wife, who replaced his brother because of passport problems. Because all the accommodations had been booked, Fei used it to go on vacation to Myanmar. Being an honored guest, Dua will provide welcome entertainment to add to the fun in Myanmar. With sandals for $5, Dua began to climb to the podium to torture Pangpe. Seeing this, Rui was so angry, while Fei and Huang Yu couldn't do anything to stop it. Then, Dua told Jiang to bring guests inside to start talking about the transaction. And when the inside, he told to try the drugs. Obviously, Rui refused because he already believed in Dua. Also would not take or reduce because it was the rules of the deal with Wang Mazi. Rui provoked Jiang. During this time, Dua had made this business bad. Hearing this, Jiang became angry. There was no need to continue the business. Then, Rui shows the ancient map to the hidden treasure belonging to the Japanese troops in exchange for releasing them. But Jiang does not believe it. Rui explained that during World War II, the Japanese plundered Myanmar's national wealth, and the map was a clue to where the treasure was hidden. And they provoked again if the treasure was found, whether Jiang would betray Dua. It turned out that Jiang wanted to become the #1 man in the cartel by killing Dua. He gave the choice of dying here or doing a difficult mission to help kill Dua. Also asked for a guarantee by leaving Fei and Huang Yu in the headquarters, and Rui will go looking for Japanese relics, and after proven, then Jiang will release them all. According to Fei, if their goal is only to save Pangpe and not interfere with internal problems in this cartel, while Huang Yu felt it was the best choice, because if not, then Jiang would kill them without mercy. Then Fei had the perfect idea, because that night, Huang Yu secretly monitored the condition of the guards who were patrolling to enter the warehouse, which turned out Huang was planning to explode the Dua headquarters weapons storage warehouse with bombs according to Fei's orders, planned to attract the attention of the troops. Then Huang Yu would save Pangpe, while Fei and Rui would fight Dua. Finally, the armory exploded. Everyone focused on the place, including the guard leaving Dua, who was drunk. After a safe condition, they immediately entered the building to meet Dua, and from behind Jiang joined in. Elsewhere, Huang Yu goes inside to free Pangpe and explain the situation in case of chaos, due to betrayal in the internal cartel. When going to escape unexpectedly, they were ambushed by armed forces without being able to do anything. Jiang pointed the gun at Dua, who was drunk thinking he wouldn't dare betray, and after Dua was sent to hell, Jiang became the leader of the cartel. After that, Fei charged a promise that if the mission was completed, then Jiang would release them. However, like political officials who were full of nonsense, the promise was just a lie. Jiang finally arrested Rui and Fei, then took them to the building where Huang Yu and Pangpe were also detained. Jiang realized that they were not from the Wang Mazi group and came here only to save Pangpe. The next morning, they were arrested and Jiang slandered, "If those who had blown up the armory and killed Dua, then today is the day for revenge." then Jiang to start executing Fei, Rui asked not to do so and shouted, "Just shoot me." Elsewhere, Harang gets news that Huan has gotten better and tells the servant to say she has changed his mind, instructing him to save Rui. But according to Renodama, Rui gets into trouble with the cartel, that without she killing him, Rui will also be executed. Harang explains if Rui gets involved in the cartel's internal battles, she is not sure they will survive, because the cartel is so ruthless, and Harang doesn't want to get into this trouble. Huan reminded that since childhood, Harang always said that when being human and doing business, integrity is the most important thing, where every friend is important, and that is what Rui did, because he risked his life during the casino mission against the Bogang boss, and if not, then she will. Finally, Harang willing to help, but does not guarantee he will survive. All depends on luck. Back in the forest, Jiang negotiates with Rui. Finally, Rui reveals that he can see anything they can't. Jiang had heard about the Japanese hiding treasure in the forest during World War II, but no one had ever been able to find or prove the story of the people. Then, he challenged Rui to prove his strength, so he activated the God's Eye through Jiang's clothes and saw a tattoo. Rui provoked if the tattoo was made covering the scar, whether from harassment or the excuse of being a cartel. Hearing this, Jiang angrily threatened Rui if lying would kill them all. Finally, Rui was released because he would be taken further into the forest to look for treasure. After walking quite a distance, Rui stopped because he found a strange stone. According to Rui, even though the map showed the location of the treasure, they would never find it because the map was incomplete. So he had to be able to follow the signs and secret writings. The clueless Jiang felt the map was useless. Then Rui activated the God's Eye to search for clues around the area, hoping to obtain useful marks. Then he saw a stone inscribed with Japanese letters. Rui explained that within a radius of 20 meters, there was a stone with the inscription Kshai, because a long time ago the stone was hidden by the forces of nature. Then Jiang told 2 people to check the stone. And it was true, they found it. According to Rui, Shi means the flow of the river. Then, they should follow and look for a sign, like a cobblestone, that will lead towards the hidden treasure. Jiang suddenly became angry, because he felt fooled. According to him, he had never seen a river flow in this forest. Luckily, the person who checked back explained that he had found a stone with a Japanese inscription carved on it. Elsewhere, they were still being held and guarded by Zangbia. Huang Yu was suspicious of why only Rui was being taken, worried that Rui would be executed. While Fei has a solution by starting to provoke, Zangbia has been deceived by Jiang, because Zangbia should have joined Look for Treasure and not be the keeper of the headquarters. Huang Yu also participated in provoking. If Zangbia was Dua's belief, then he was only used as a tool, and if Zhang found a treasure, then Zangbia would be abandoned. It could be proven when Zhang killed Dua. Then, he could become a traitor at any time. Zangbia's brain began to work properly, so he asked someone to find out about the betrayal by interrogating all the troops. Going deeper into the virgin forest, Rui and Zhang still continued to travel following the clues. Then he activated the God's Eye to look for more detailed clues. Rui sees a hidden cave covered in plants. Zhang was confused as Rui pointed to the location, telling him to get rid of the vegetation. They began to come closer to find a gap to enter, because Rui's eyes were never wrong. So they all entered the cave, in which there was a larger room tracing into further, which they had unknowingly been followed by someone. Finally, some boxes were seen. Zhang was curious to open immediately and found so much gold that it made them all laugh happily. Zangbia was furious after hearing that Zhang had betrayed him and immediately went to seek and take revenge. Since the headquarters has been empty, this is an opportunity to leave. While Jiang is busy with the gold, Rui has other plans by activating the God's Eye to look deep into the rock. He finds a box and attempts to dig it up by banging the rock several times until it gets a crack to pull out the mysterious box. When opened, it turned out to be an ancient scroll that had been sought by him. However, Jiang saw it snatched by force from Rui's hands, while Zangbia, who already knew the location of the cave from the spy, immediately approached the location, making the guards report it to Jiang. So Jiang immediately came out of the cave to find out what Zangbia was doing. Meanwhile, Rui followed and watched the situation. When Jiang had come out, Zangbia immediately attacked, and there was a war among the cartel members. As Rui was about to referee the war, Pangpe arrived to take Rui to where Huang Yu and Fei were hiding, watching the war from afar. Pangpe explains to Rui that Zangbia has found out that Jiang has betrayed it, and now they can watch the war casually, like in a movie theater, even though there are no popcorn sellers. As Jiang's group began to retreat, Zangbia kept firing brutally, leaving Jiang to fall under fire. Seeing that, Rui immediately went to get closer, but suddenly there was an attack from a mysterious force that killed all the members of the cartel. It turned out that Rui wanted to take back the scrolls brought by Jiang. Then a smoke bomb was thrown by the mysterious forces with very thick smoke, making things even more chaotic. When they breathe in the smoke, the consciousness will be reduced to make anyone will faint. A mysterious force began to approach that turned out to retrieve the ancient scrolls from Rui. Fei, who was still conscious, tried to take off the gas mask, which turned out to be Bing Bing. The scene shows Rui walking alone in the forest. Then Bing Bing appears to shoot, and Rui wakes up from his sleep, where he had been at home in Beijing. Rui looked confused by what had happened. Then Huang Yu explained that the doctor had examined Rui when he fainted and found that he had a concussion. Besides that, while in Myanmar, exposed to moist poison and will recover by resting a few days. Also, Rui remembered seeing the real traitor that was Bing Bing. Then he was looking for something, and according to Huang Yu, there was nothing in Rui's suitcase, including gold or ancient scrolls. The reason they were able to survive was because they were helped by Renodama, after Huan begged Harang. In another place, Fei returned to police duty because she was not actually fired. Fei reports everything that happens to the commander if the mastermind behind the robbery and theft of the tomb has been revealed. Then, the commander instructs to take strong evidence, although this is a difficult thing because the suspect's operating system is in many places even abroad, and Fei Ai returns undercover to continue the investigation to uncover this big case. After that, she went to see Rui to check the health of this young man. Then Rui understood that Fei had been following him for investigations on Bing Bing from Ukraine to Myanmar. Before leaving, Fei reminded Rui to be wary of Bing Bing because she is a mysterious girl, and that is the reason why, in every danger, there is always a connection, and Bing Bing always knows it. For some second, Rui thought for a moment, remembering every dangerous thing that was always related to Bing Bing, and strangely, she always knew every incident she faced.